Hi there everyone, I'm David Harries and thanks for joining me on this live stream lesson. These lessons are, as I've mentioned in the emails, for complete beginners. Yeah, without further ado, we're going to get stuck in. Obviously, firstly, just thanks to everybody for signing up, really appreciate it. And a couple of things just to think about really before we get started. The first is, from doing a couple of tests of this, I have noticed that there's about a 15 to 20 second delay, so from what I say and play and that kind of thing to what you hear. So if you were to type anything in the chat to ask a question, it might take a while before it kind of filters back to me, so bear with me if you don't get a response straight away. Another thing would be, obviously, we're in this lesson now for half an hour, so if you've got any phones on or emails open, any notifications, that kind of thing, it'd be good to turn those off if possible, just so we can stay focused for the next half an hour. If there's any children doing the lessons, I would suggest a parent or an adult sits in with them as well. This can just help because there'll be a few things that we talk about that children might find beneficial to have an adult there just to help guide them through, because there'll probably be a few new things for them to be thinking about. As I mentioned about in the chat thing, so if you want to ask questions, you should see a chat function somewhere on YouTube, and you can just type something in and send it over. As I said, there's a bit of a delay, so don't worry if I don't get back to you straight away. If any questions crop up sort of as we go through, then I'll answer them as we go. If it seems that there's quite a lot of them, then I might wait to the end because I don't want to disrupt the flow too much. So we just sort of play that a little bit by ear. And the other thing I should mention is, if you want to ask a question, you do need to subscribe to the YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed, I don't think it'll let you send the message. I'm not 100% sure what it will do, but as I understand it, it's not going to come through to me, so obviously I won't be able to answer it. So, okay, so I just need to adjust my camera just a little bit, so hopefully you can all see me nice and clearly. So one of the things we talked about, or I sent an email about recently, was tuning. So hopefully you've all had a go at that. Our first few strings that we're going to be learning are going to be the top three strings, so G, B and E. We'll get onto that in a minute. I'm going to play all the notes. Just play along at home. Hopefully you're in tune. So if I play your bottom E here, if you play the note as well, and just double check, is it more or less the same pitch? Appreciate it might not be perfect, but as long as we're close enough, that's cool. This one and the next two are the less important ones because we're not going to be focusing on those strings. However, we do want to try and keep them in tune as much as possible, so when we come to those notes, the strings are used to that kind of tension, and therefore it should stay in tune a bit better when we get to them. So that's our bottom E, so we check that one. That's our A. Just check, hopefully you're roughly the same, and then we'll go for the D. And our third string, which is G. And our second string. And then finally our first string. So that's our few strings there. Hopefully you also all had the email and have downloaded or have a copy of this, because this is the book we're going to be working from, Guitar Quest 1, A New Beginning. So if you have it, could you please turn to page 4? And what we're going to do is just talk about the basics of the guitar itself. I do have the book as a PDF, so I'll scan to and from it a little bit as we go. But for now, I'm going to assume you've got the book in front of you. So looking on page 4 at the guitar, you can see in the top left corner we've got this photo, and you can see the top of the guitar kind of like that. And I realise this is all mirrored, so that might not work actually. All to do with the camera and webcam and stuff. But anyway, the string closest to your face is the 6th string, and that's E. The 5th string is, well, all the strings work sequentially down towards the floor. So 6th string, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. And so these all have the numbers, which obviously we've talked about just now, and they all have notes associated with them as well. Excuse me. So the first is E, then A, then D, then G, then B, then E again, as we talked about in the tuning as well. So one of the things we want to try and, one of the first things to try and take on board, I suppose, is trying to learn these open strings. So if you see in the blue box underneath it, we've got a couple of mnemonics to kind of help us with that. So the first one is elephants and dogs grow big ears. So what you would do is take the first letter of each of one of those words, and that tells you what the string name is. So for example, it's elephant, so E, and A, dogs, D, grow, G, B, big, B, and then ears is E. Or if you prefer, we've got the second one, Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. Just be aware that obviously goodbye is normally one word, we're splitting it into two. So it'd be Eddie ate dynamite, goodbye Eddie. So so what I would suggest is you pick one of those, whichever one feels kind of easiest to remember, and then we just start trying to learn it and associating it with the string names. So that's the first thing. In the top right hand corner you can see there's a picture of a guitar with a little bit of the neck showing. So frets are these spaces here. So this is fret 1, this would be fret 2, fret 3, fret 4. So again, just a little bit of information. We're not going to be doing any fretted notes today, but obviously we will be getting onto that sooner rather than later. So it's just a kind of heads up that that's, that we're talking the same language really. At the bottom of page 4 we have an introduction to the musical stave. So the stave is the series of horizontal lines. So there's 5 lines there. The treble clef is the squiggly thing at the start of the line. That tells us that obviously we're playing the treble notes. So if, for example, you were playing bass, or if you played another instrument like piano or something, you might see a bass clef that has a different squiggly line. So it's just a symbol that kind of tells us what range of notes we're looking at. Then we have the time signature, which is 4/4. So that just tells us how many beats are in the bar. Again, we'll go into that in a bit more detail shortly. And then if you imagine we have for example, a 3-minute piece of music, we want to break that down into lots of small chunks. So we don't, if you have 3 minutes of music, you might have like 1,000 notes or something like that. So we don't want just one long stream of notes, because that would be just incredibly difficult to sort of formulate it and figure out what should be going on. So what we do is we split it down into these very small bars. So the vertical lines there are the bar lines, and in between each bar line we've got the 4 beats, and then the music just fits. And so every bar would have 4 beats worth in it, so it can never not have 4. Well, there's the odd circumstance where it might not, but it's pretty rare. So yeah, it should always add up to 4 beats. So hopefully that's clear. So if you've got any questions, chuck them in the chat, send them over. So then just briefly looking at page 5, we've got the left hand and the right hand. So think about the left hand, this is our fretting hand. Now I should also just make the distinction that I'm talking about this from the point of view of a right-handed guitarist. So right-handed guitarists would pluck the strings with the right hand and fret with the left. If anyone watching is a left-handed player and you've got a left-handed guitar, then your guitar would be pointing, it would be kind of like that, but the strings would also be the other way up as well. So a left-handed guitarist would pluck the strings with their left hand and fret with their right hand. So if if you're a left-handed player, then every time I say right or left hand, you're going to have to try and flip that around. So apologies, as that is going to make it a little bit more tricky for you, but most of the music and most of the books that you see written are unfortunately written for right-handed players. I think I mentioned in my blog about guitars that even if you are a left-handed player, it might be worth getting a right-handed guitar because everything is geared towards that. So something to think about. So our fretting hands, we don't really use the thumb very much, so we kind of forget about that. And then the fingers are just numbered, so 1, 2, 3 and 4. 1 being the index finger, your middle finger is the second one, third finger is obviously the third one, and the pinky is the fourth finger. If any of you have ever played piano, then you know they do count a thumb, so there's a little thing you just have to be aware of really, that you don't, well, what you associate with piano and what you associate with guitar are slightly different. So on guitar we don't count the thumb, on piano you do. So just something to be aware of. On the right hand, the fingers are given letters. We don't tend to use the pinky finger. So the thumb is P, and then the index finger is I, so the index finger being the one next to the thumb, and then middle finger, and then third finger. Like I said, we don't really use the little finger. They all come from Spanish words, so a lot of guitar specific terminology has Spanish origins. So P is pulgar, which is Spanish for thumb. I and M happen to be the same, and A is, I think it's pronounced annular. But yeah, so they're the Spanish words anyway. So so let's turn the page, and we're going to have a think about our first exercise. One other thing we just need to consider before we get started properly is posture. So there are two main postures. If any of you manage to get hold of a footstool, these are really handy. Not essential. If you are a classical player, I'm just going to move back a bit so you can see this. What you would do is put the footstool on the floor. I'm going to have to come right far back here. Put the left foot on the footstool, and then the guitar is going to sit over the left leg, and you get this lovely sort of diagonal angle here. You want to sit further on or forward on the front edge of the seat, so we don't want to be slouching back. So that's our classical posture. So anybody who really wants to get into classical playing, this is what you want to go for. So your right leg's going to point that way a little bit, and your left leg just sort of goes probably a little bit to the left, and by and large mainly forward. And we sit like this. The more contemporary posture, you put your right foot on the footstool. You may not want it quite as high. I haven't adjusted it here, but yeah, you could lower it a little bit. The reason for that, and again it's optional, but you might find if you're sitting here and you've got the guitar over the right leg, that you end up on your tiptoes trying to keep the guitar steady. So if you experience that, just putting it on a footstool, or if you haven't got one, some old books or something like that you've got, you could just, anything just to raise the leg a little bit so the guitar sits there quite nicely. So let's carry on. So looking at page 6 then, we have our first 3 notes. In the top left corner of the page you can see we've got the note E. So looking at our stave, we've got that circular or oval shape, that's the note, and whenever it's in that top space, that's the note E, and that corresponds to our first string. So no matter what piece of music you're looking at, if you see a note in that top space, you can play your first string and you'll be playing the right note. The second one, B, so that's the note is on the middle line, and that is your second string, so B string. And then the last one we've got there, so the second bottom line is G, that's our third string. So those are the notes, think of our mnemonics for Grow Big Ears or Goodbye Eddie. So what we have to do when we're looking at a piece of music is associate where that note is on the stave and how we play it on the guitar. So if we're looking at exercise 1 the trail, you can see in the first bar there, that note is in the top space and it's printed 4 times. The type of note it is called a crotchet, so it's a solid circle with a line coming off it. So when you see that note, that's called a crotchet, and it lasts for 1 beat. And because it's printed there 4 times, we're going to play it 4 times. So our first bar, we play the note E once, twice, 3rd time, and then a 4th time. And that's our first bar. That's all we have to do. If you can, with your right hand, if you notice above those notes, I've got I am written there. So we want to alternate those fingers as best we can. That technique is a great one to develop, and I thoroughly encourage everybody to do it as much as you can, but it is quite difficult. So if you don't manage it, you know, a lot of people play like that, you know, to begin with anyway, or perhaps with the middle finger. So if you notice yourself doing it, see if you can alternate those fingers, but don't be too hard on yourself if you find that quite challenging. So that's our first bar. As we go into the second bar, we can see that note shifts onto the middle line. So we now have to think, okay, the middle line, that's the note B. That's our second string. So now we play that 4 times. Then the third bar, we've got 4 E's again. So we come back to the first string. And then the 4th bar, if you notice the type of note that is there, so this is called, you can see it's slightly different. It's got an open circle with a line coming off it, and that's called a minim, and that is a note that lasts for 2 beats. So the other ones we played so far are crotchets, and they last for 1 beat. This is a 2-beat note. So what we do is we play it, and then we let it ring on twice as long, and that would take up the 4 beats of the bar. So if we were counting, it would be 1, 2, and then play again on 3, and let it ring for beat 4. So that's our first line. As we come on to the second line, and don't worry, I'll play this all to you in a second. We come back to the top space, so we know we've got 4 E's again. Bar 6, so the second bar and second line. We're back onto the B's. In bar 7, we stay on the B's, but notice we've got the open circle with the line coming off it type of note, which is the minim. So they're going to be 2-beat notes. And one way to help keep the timing is to play the note and say the number 2 afterwards. So we play the B, 2, 2, and then we come back in the final bar to E, and play that 3 times, and then say 2 at the end to you know, to fill that space for that minim there. So so I'm now going to play you the whole thing. I'm going to play it a couple of times to you. So the first time I'm just going to play it, and then the second time I'm going to play it and count 1 to 4 for each bar as well, so you get a sense of where you should be. Okay, so here is a trail just on its own. Okay. Okay, so I have the music down in front of me here, so that's why I'm looking away from the screen. So I'm now going to play it to you again, but this time I'm going to count the bar numbers and the beats as we go through. Okay, so after 4, I'll count us in. If anybody wants to join in, please do so. Just, you know, give it your best shot. So here we go. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, so hopefully that was clear. Because I'm not playing anything with my left hand, obviously the neck of the guitar is quite far down in the corner of the screen, but hopefully the right hand, that's really the only thing we're interested in at the moment, so hopefully that was clear enough. So that is exercise 1. So let's try it again, and this time, whether you joined in last time or not, doesn't matter, but this time I'd like everybody to at least attempt it, everyone who's watching. So if you can, please, after 4, I'll count us in. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we start where the next one would fall. And I'll just sort of talk our way through it as we change notes and that kind of thing. So here we go. Good luck, everyone. After 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got E. I'm going to switch to B. Back to the first string and E. And the B, and we're going to hold it. 2, again, 2, back to E. I'm going to switch to B for 4. Stay on the B. 2, 2, and then finally back to the E again. 2, and stop. So, hopefully you all played along with it. Hopefully that made sense. And regardless of how it went, give yourself a pat on the back, because you know it's just attempting a first tune is great. You know, so so that's cool. Now, what we also have, or I've put together, are some backing tracks for this. So I am now going to attempt. Well, I'm going to press play on the backing track. Hopefully it's going to work. Hopefully you'll hear it. Do let me know if you can't. The first one I set it up is very. We've definitely got a rock hat on with this one. It's very quite a heavy kind of tune. Hopefully it's fun. So have a listen to this and see what you think. Okay, so hopefully you could hear that, obviously, and I'll make that track available. It's on my YouTube page now, so after the lesson you can listen to that, play along with it. There are 2 versions. There's one with the exercise 1 played, so you play along with that. Make sure you've got your timing good. Excuse me, and then the second half of the video, exercise 1 isn't there, and so it's just over to you to play it at the same time. And hopefully, you know, if all goes well, then you should be able to play it. It should stay in time, you know. And what you want to do in terms of practice really is practice it on your own first, a few times. Make sure you've got the timing roughly right. You feel reasonably confident. Then you do it with the demo track, which is the first half of the video. So you're playing along. Are you in time with the backing and that kind of thing? And then you'd go to the second half of the video and play along and see if you can stay in time without the exercise being played to guide you through. So that's the sort of process really. So we're going to have a look at exercise 2. So I realise we're running a little bit short on time, but we haven't had any questions come through yet. So I think we've got time to have a look at this one. So looking at exercise 2. The first note is in the top space, so we're hopefully thinking that's an E. It's the open circle with the line coming off it, so that's the minim, which is our 2-beat note. So the first bar is 1, 2, and you can play it again, and then say 2. That'll help with the timing. The second bar, we've got the 4 E's as crotchets, so they're the 1-beat notes. So it's just a 1, 2, 3, 4. Then the third bar, you notice the note has moved to the middle line. That's the B, so we play the B, count 2, play it again, say 2. And then we have, in the fourth bar, back to our crotchets, still the same note. So notice that when the note's on the middle line there, it's always a B. It's just about how long that note lasts for. Is it a 1-beat note or a 2-beat note? So bar 4, we've got 4 of those. And bar 5, we're back into that top space. That's our note E, which is our first string. So we play it, lasts for 2 beats. Another 2-beat note. Then bar 6, we're back onto the B. And then bar 7, it's a 2-beat note, 2, and then back onto the E to finish off with. 2. Okay, so hopefully that kind of made sense. So I didn't go over it in as much detail as exercise 1, having gone over the notes in the first place. Hopefully that kind of made sense. So I'm going to play to you now exercise 2. I'll play it once, counting the timing, and then we'll have a go to playing it together. Okay, so this is how it sounds, just me playing it. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, stop. Okay, so let's have a go at playing it together. I'll count us in again. Just give it your best. Try and remember to use your walking fingers on your right hand if you can. You know, if not, like I said before, don't worry too much. It's just a technique we want to try and develop as best we can. So here we go. We'll go a little bit slower than how I just played it. Okay, so after 4, so 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Into the B's. Back to E, 2, 2, and then finish off on the E, 2, and then we stop. So that's exercise 2. I am going to put that backing track on as well, just so you can have a listen. This one's very different. It's more of a classical kind of thing, but hopefully you'll enjoy it as well. So just have a quick listen to this. So that's exercise 2, Sunrise. So that one is also on YouTube. So if you go to my YouTube homepage, you should see a playlist there which has both of those songs as backing tracks. So yeah, what we're going to finish up there. So that half an hour's kind of zipped by. Today, obviously, we covered quite a lot about just absolute fundamentals of the guitar and that. So next week we'll probably get through a little bit more because hopefully, well, I won't be going back over that. So hopefully you'll sort of remember it. A few things just to recap for finishing off. So the things we want to try and take away from today would be learning the string names. So the Elephants and Dogs Grow Big Ears, Eddie 8 Dynamite, Goodbye Eddie, one of those mnemonics to help you. So try and learn those. And then we want to have go exercises 1 and 2 from the book. When you practice it on your own first. Try and get that timing nice and steady. Make sure you're hitting the right notes. Then try it with the demo track, which is the first half of the video that I've put on YouTube. And then when you're feeling confident, move on to the second half of the video, which has the backing track, so the exercise element is removed from it. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I haven't seen any questions come through, so if you want to fire any over, please go for it. I'll sit here for another couple of minutes and answer anything that comes through. In terms of practice, we always say it used to be practice every day if you can, 15 minutes, 20 minutes every day. I don't know how realistic that is in the modern world, but 4 to 5 times a week would be amazing. But basically, anything is better than nothing. So we want to make sure we're definitely practicing during the week. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So if you enjoyed this lesson, please give it a thumbs up. If you're happy to make a donation, that would be amazing. I really appreciate it. And then next week I will send round another link to the live stream, so you know where to go. It'll just be a brief email, just with that link really. It will also be on my YouTube homepage, and if I think of it, I'll put it on my Facebook guitar teaching page as well. So if you give that a like or a follow or whatever you do on Facebook, then the link will be there as well. And that's pretty much it. So like I say, I'll sit here for another couple of minutes. If anybody has any questions, send them through. But otherwise, we will be picking things up again at 6:15 next week. Okay, so thank you very much for joining. Hopefully, I'll either hear from you in the next couple of minutes or see you again next week. Okay, bye-bye.